Feeling run down? Don't have the energy you used to? You want to put the zest back into your step? Then you need Super Mario Lizard Vitality. It's got everything you need to get your groove back. 100% guaranteed effective. Just look at what's done for me. And enter the code UNIVERSALIST at checkout to get a free subspace shipping on your order. So don't delay. Get your 30-day supply for only $29.99 Quatloos. Don't be a tool of the Galactic World Order. Get yours now. Ah!
Need a new car? Looking for that business vehicle or ornaments to conquer a small nation? At Cobra Commander's Sharp Auto Sales, we want to put you in your next vehicle. We have everything to meet your work, family, or military needs. Check out this His Tank. It can be yours for no money down and only $2.99 a month. Need something more versatile? How about this Stinger Jeep? Fully armored, missile launcher included. Only 40,000 miles, most of which are non-combat. We've also got Rattlers, Night Ravens, and the all-new Ford Escape. And now we're offering 0 payments for 6 months, or until Destro can formulate a plan to take over the banks. Remember, at Cobra Commander's Sharp Auto Sales, we're not just a car dealer. We're an evil terrorist organization determined to rule the world. And we're certified by the Better Business Bureau. So come on down to Cobra Commander's Sharp Auto Sales for a test drive on Route 1 in Springfield. Follow the signs of the bomb craters. Free balloons for the kids. Come on down! Cobra!
It's time once again for Let's Sue Disney! Well, hello there, and welcome to another exciting episode of Let's Sue Disney. Let's meet today's contestants. Let's say hello to our returning champion. She's an Avenger, the star of Black Widow, and the latest woman to accuse Disney of unfair business practices. Meet Scarlett Johansson. She's the star of La La Land, and said yes to being in the worst idea for a Disney film since Tomorrowland and A Wrinkle in Time. Meet Emma Stone! And finally, let's meet today's challenger. She's the wife of John Krasinski, and the reason why Scarlett Johansson became Black Widow in the first place. Say hello to Emily Blunt! What does Marvel boss Kevin Feige have to say about all this? We'll find out today on Let's Sue Disney!
Hey everybody, Shlomo here. How's it going? Oh boy, yeah. This is a No Time to Die, non-review, non-spoiler, non-stream. How's it going, everybody? Oh brother, let me tell you something. This is bad. This is bad. Listen, spoilers are all over the internet. I'll try to keep spoilers out of this as much as possible. But if you want to find out what happened, turn on my camera. You're going to get spanked. You really are. Turn on my camera. How's that? Better? Yeah. Hey, Rob. How's it going? Yeah, I cut my face shaving this morning, actually. So yeah. So No Time to Die is all the spoilers are all over the internet. If you want to find out what the spoilers are, you can find them. My hat's crooked. My hat's a little crooked. So, yeah. This is bad, folks. This is pretty bad. If you're like me, you want to find out what happened. Listen, you can read the spoilers everywhere, but I'm not going to say what's happened, but you find out. But this is yet another FU to the fans. It really is. It really is. You thought we would be past this, but no, we're not, apparently. And this guy Cary Fukunaga is yet another director who wants to make a name for himself. And he wants to do subvert expectations. I don't want my listen. It's a Bond movie. I don't want my expectations subverted. Go do it with your little art film, with your little $10, $20 million art film. You don't do it with the Bond movie. Pretty well, not really. Exactly. If you're gonna subvert expectations, give me something. Give me Bond fighting a T-Rex. So, Mr. Bond, you've discovered my plan to genetically clone dinosaurs. Imagine what chaos they would wreak all over the world. Governments the world over held hostage all over the globe, and all the magnificent dinosaurs are at my command. You know, you're a madman. You know, but you're a madman. What kind of maniac would unleash dinosaurs upon the world? But it's, I just don't understand this obsession with wanting to ruin these properties. I really don't. Doctor Who is ruined. Marvel's being ruined right before our eyes. What else is ruined? I mean, really, they're just taking a Star Wars is ruined. They're going to ruin DC. It's like they're taking a gigantic, they're squatting and they're taking a shit right in front of us. Right in front of us. They're shitting on it. They're taking it and they're sniffing it and they're saying, whoa. And you say to them, whoa, you just took a shit. They said, no, well, I just subverted your expectations. This is fertilizer. That's right. They're going to ruin Batman. They've ruined Star Trek. They've ruined Marvel. They've ruined Star Wars. They've ruined Terminator. They've ruined Doctor Who. And Indiana Jones is next. You know, a lot of these have same thing in common. Poob. Listen. Why are we letting Phoebe Waller-Bridge near these franchises? Why? Why are we? I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. He-Man is being ruined. But the prop. Let me pull up a couple articles, okay? It's. I want to see what the Rotten Tomatoes scores are on No Time to Die. So we're all familiar with this article. This came out a while ago. Okay. No Time to Die needs to earn $900 million to break even. Now that's just a break even. Break even. Think about that for a minute. $900 million to break even. Yes, it's been delayed 1.5 years. Yes, people are starting to come back to the movies. And yes, it's a big franchise. But you know what? This movie's not going to make $900 million. And when word of mouth starts to trickle out, it's going to sink this movie. It is going to sink this movie. Absolutely. It is absolutely going to sink this movie. All a bunch of white men bad. That's why all our French is being systematically torn apart by the left. No, I think it's just contempt. It's postmodernism. It's postmodernism. It's contempt. It's no respect for tradition. You have a bunch of millennials that want to make a name for themselves, and they don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to create them for themselves. They don't know how to create anything. Now, let's pull up the box office. Oh, come on. No, I didn't want to open a private window. Let's see what kind of start it's off to. But the other thing too, I mean, like I said, and they're going to spin this. Oh, No Time to Die thriving with projected $113 million offshore bow international box. Yeah, but you know what? Well, Grace Randolph's an imbecile. I hate saying that about her, but she really is. She's an imbecile. Grace Randolph will like anything if you just wave a big enough goodie bag in front of her face. But it goes to show you, I mean, this whole thing, refresh for the latest. Bond is back in a big way. exceeding our previous our conservative pre-weekend projection and doing a bang-up business across the first few days of release. MGM and Eon Universal No Time to Die is now poised for an estimated 112 million.9 evening opening weekend. At the international box office, that means that through Sunday, Daniel Craig's Star will become the first Hollywood movie to launch to 100 million overseas during the pandemic without China in the opening suite of markets. Directed by Kari Joji Fukunaga and widely praised. Remember 2 years, was it 4 years ago? Remember? What other movie was widely praised? Think back, help me out here. What other movie was widely praised? What other movie they said was the greatest of its kind? Oh, this is the greatest one since sliced bread. That's very true. That's very true. Money isn't a market. Bad movies make money all the time. It's like something maybe it's a baby powder or something. I don't know. Captain Whammin, greatest Marvel movie ever. Oh, greatest Marvel movie ever. Greatest ever. Black Panther, greatest Marvel movie ever. Everything's great. It's the greatest Marvel movie ever. It's just quacking me here. Is that you, Mecca, quacking me? Yeah. Okay. Let me edit the title. I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Huh? I thought I had to sneeze. The sneeze left me. Movies with a question mark. No Time to Die, The Last Jedi of James Bond movies. Broadcast is scheduled future and within one. Broadcast must be scheduled in the future and within 1 year. Please edit the start time. Okay, well, it looks like I can't edit it. Can't edit the title. Not from here. For frick's sake. Okay, well. But the thing is, Yak Yak, he's not a Bond fan. But that's the thing. Is this being made to please go to the playback? Well, okay, now I gotta go into YouTube Studio. But is this being made for non-Bond fans? Who is this made for? That's the other thing, too. Who is this movie made for? Obviously, it's not made for Bond fans. Okay, obviously. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so bad. Word is starting to creep out. I've seen several No Time and Critical Drinkers live right now too. Let's hey, if you want the real dope, you come to me, okay? But that's a really good question. Who is this movie made for? That's right. It's made for people with Twitter pronouns. It's made for people who kind of like James Bond, and they think there's an audience, mythical audience out there who buys groceries at Whole Foods and waits in line for iPhones, and we're going to subvert their expectations. Stop. It doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work. Because ultimately, listen, you want to deconstruct something, okay, great. But you know what? You better build something in its place that's better. Deconstruct. What does deconstruct ultimately mean? When you deconstruct a house, what are you doing? You're tearing it down. Maybe ask Critical Drinker to invite Rob on to debate. Well, not so much debate, just talk about it. The name's Bond, Karen Bond. I don't understand why this has become a trend. Why? I mean, listen, I was of that age when, you thought that, oh yeah, you know what? This is not cool. You used to listen to classic rock on the radio. This isn't cool. Hey man, I'm trying to do my own thing. But you know what? Okay, fine. But ultimately, my generation, I hate saying it, we did give something to art and to the medium. And unfortunately, it is my generation that is doing this. Generation X, Gen X. But we did come in with like Nirvana, The Replacements, stuff like that. You know what? And we, like it or not, listen, that stuff is never going to replace like the 60s and classic rock. But you know what? I can at least be happy that my generation actually kind of did that. This generation coming up is like, you have all these. What the fuck are you going to be left with? You're going to be left with an emasculated James Bond? You're going to be left with a dead Luke Skywalker? You're going to be left with an idiotic with Star Trek with sonar in space? Exactly. It's for people who don't like Bond. This is for people who don't like Bond. They do not like Bond. I'm very flattered you guys think you wanted me to go on there. Very flattered. No, I don't blame Daniel Craig. I don't blame Daniel Craig either. But you know what? No, you know what? You know what? Daniel Craig, I'm not, like I said, we're not giving it away. This is the ending that Daniel Craig said that he wanted. And this is why you don't trust actors to make these kind of decisions. And the movie, like you said, that's the other thing. This movie is way too freaking long. Way too long. 2 hours and 46 minutes. I'm not saying I saw it. Yeah, I'm not saying I saw it because this is a non-review. Might have saw it, might not have saw it. But you know what? This movie, 2 hours, 46 minutes, 45 minutes too long. And the fact that you're showing Bond, like, oh, you're going to see something you never saw in a Bond movie before. Like what? Like what? Because, maybe there's a reason why you never saw this kind of stuff in a Bond movie before. Maybe because it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Do you know why certain things don't take off? Not like clear Pepsi. Remember clear Pepsi? Anybody remember that? No? You don't? Okay, yeah. You know why? Because it wasn't a good idea. New Coke wasn't a good idea. Professional hockey in Atlanta. Looks good on paper. Not a good idea. How is Lasagna Lynch? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why did you have to? Why? Whose idea was it to cast her in this movie? Whose idea? Listen. I know the old saying, there's an ass for every seat, okay? She just doesn't do anything for me. She's not listen, I am my mother used to say about women, used to say la bruta. She's a la brute. She's a la brute. In my opinion, she isn't worth much. Not an attractive woman. I don't find her appealing whatsoever. And I know I shouldn't say this, but my God, it's just her teeth are so distracting. her teeth, like she goes, and she makes this face all the time, like those, like every time she's on camera in a movie, which I'm not saying I saw. I'm not saying I saw it. Yeah. Stay in your lane, Mr. Vaughn. She literally, I'll put a bullet in your knee. The one that works. Literally, the teeth are leaping out of her mouth. She might as well have been Orko. And she has this demeanor like she's an ex-wife walking around. Like you owe her back alimony. Did you see the last James Bond movie? Is that the subject today? I'm not saying I saw it. I might have seen it. Might not have seen it. I'm not saying. You know what? Like I said, this is a non-spoiler review. Because this is a non-spoiler, non-review. I'm just going by what the conventional wisdom is. Like a certain sleazy person, Sleazy P. Martini, who is going to be live in about an hour and a half. Sleazy P. My God, it doesn't help. Listen, I've had a lot of work done, okay? When I had a good dental plan, my last job, I had a lot of work done, okay? So I got, so. But my God, she is, oh my God. It's, like I said, it's distracting. It's distracting. It's to the level it is distracting. And you know what? The whole idea, I don't believe for, listen, and everybody saying, well, why don't they pick up with another agent? Shut up. Shut up. You're an idiot. And I hate saying that. Anybody who says they should have another agent, they should have 008, go on in the next one. Shut up. You're an idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about. Bond is not Marvel. Stop thinking it's Marvel. There's not all these well-developed characters out there. The name of the series is called Ian Fleming's 007 James Bond. That's the series. It's not 008 Ira Schlumberger. The name Schlumberger, Ira Schlumberger. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. But you just spoiled. We see bigger. What? Spoiled. We see that it's bigger than their teeth are more bigger than their face. I guess which actress you talk about. Well, the blonde hair is. The blonde hair is one thing. Actually, more, but I'll discuss that. I'll discuss that in a minute. The whole problem with this is that, okay, and you have an American coming in. Cary Fukunaga is the first American to direct a James Bond movie. And that is never going to happen again after this. It's just a lack of reverence for the series. It really is. I really do think there's a lack of reverence here for the series. And it doesn't help. Listen, when I was with the other channel, we got a lot of information. And basically it said that this movie had tested poorly. Now, if this is the movie that they went with after a year and a half, what exactly, if this movie went into reshoots, then I want to know what exactly was reshot. Again, not saying I saw it. Not saying I saw it. But the whole thing, there's one shot of a Nokia cell phone on a table. It's very, very blatant product placement. Picks it up, and after this, I'm not going to buy a Nokia phone ever. Again, not saying I saw it. Not saying I saw it, but there is, from what I've heard, scene with a Nokia phone. Picks it up. It's very clear. Nokia. And they said they went into reshoots Just for that? I don't think so. I'm wondering what this movie originally looked like. I really do. What could this movie really... I mean, are we looking at a Matt Smith version of Star Wars here? It's unfathomable that they said, this is the movie we're going with. Unless it was so bad, they had to salvage something. And said, okay, you know what? Let's go with it, and we'll try to convince people in the hype machine, and we will try to convince people to go see it, and we'll see what happens. We'll just Last Jedi the hell out of this thing. And to me, that seems like that was their plan. They were going to Last Jedi the hell out of this. Because there is a lot of similarities to this and The Last Jedi. There are. A movie which I saw comparing to a movie which I may or not have seen. I may or may not have seen. But the other thing is, again, we had Danny Boyle come in and he was originally signed on to do this movie. And he had his writing partner, John, I believe it's John Hodge. And I read the call sheets of the people they were looking for, and like, hey, you know what? This actually seems pretty interesting. But you know, bad guy was a Russian. Can't have bad guys Russian anymore. You know why? 140 million people in Russia. They're all going to the movies. They had what studio released World War Z? World War Z had an ending where Brad Pitt was lopping off zombies' heads in the middle of Red Square. Studio said, nope, gotta change it. Why? Why do we gotta change it? Brad Pitt looks like a hero in Russia. Can't have that. Too many Russians go to the movies. So I'm wondering if that's why Danny Boyle was fired. I don't think he's fired. Well, it was crap, but at the same time. Yes, Danny Boyle. 28 days later, Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle, yesterday, Danny Boyle. Well, no, one helps the Democrats are like, well, you know what? That's neither here nor there for this discussion, but it's unfathomable, really, that this is the movie we got. Is it heavy on the wokeness? Well, if I saw the movie, which I'm not saying I did, not saying I didn't, I would say, so-so. I'm really having a hard time with this. And Robert Meyer Burnett says this quite a bit, and it's something that's, he'll have a lot to say about this. We haven't seen this version of James Bond be James Bond. We haven't seen him go off on a mission. We haven't seen him do any real James Bond kind of stuff. We kind of did in Quantum of Solace, but not really. And there's been this whole thing with directors over the last few years. We have to make this personal. We need to make this personal. No, why do you need to make this personal? You need to make this personal. We need to make it personal. We need to make it personal. Casino Royale. Yeah, we saw Bond on one mission at the beginning of his career. That was it. The rest has just been trying to make this some sort of personal journey. Oh, but he's a different man. He's vulnerable. Fuck you. He's vulnerable. I don't understand the obsession. I mean, and that's where was it Morbid Fury said this? And that's where this comes in. Directors are afraid now to direct a James Bond movie, not because of the franchise, not because of the size of the franchise, but because of what the franchise means. They do not want to touch these movies. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it. James Bond's biggest enemy. It's not Hugo Drax. It's not Ulrich Goldfinger. It's not Ernest Stavro Blofeld. Here they come. They come to shut the stream now. It's not Francisco Scaramanga. I'm going to have to get a drink of water soon. It's not Elliot Carver. Actually, that would be an interesting plot today, like social media and everything. That would be a very interesting plot today. James Bond's biggest enemy right now is Austin Powers. Now you're going to say, but Rob, that was 20 years ago. Well, you know what? Movies have much longer lifespan now. Ever since Austin Powers, and they parodied those tropes so well. Ever since Austin Powers, directors have been petrified to do the classic James Bond tropes and the classic movies. This is Rob. This has been the trajectory of Craig's Bond. Secret from M Pass comes back for Skyfall. For the Bond Pass comes back for Spectre. Yeah, Madeline's Pass comes back. You know what? Listen, go and watch my review of Spectre. Spectre is an abysmal. I don't even own Spectre on DVD or Blu-ray. Spectre is an abysmal movie. It really is. And you know what? This movie is so front-loaded. A movie which, again, I'm not saying if I saw it, not saying if I did see it or didn't see it. Again, they give you this. This is the Last Jedi of James Bond movies. It's front-loaded with the stuff you want to see, and then the rest is just this boring. And that's when you know a franchise has run its course. When the parody does the character better than the character itself. Now, the whole thing about it wasn't Austin Powers that killed Bond. It was some random baddie in Triple X. I've never seen Triple X, so. James Bond, last mission, time to die. Might as well be. But the other thing, too, and you know what? And that's where I always say, people always ask me, Rob, what kind of Bond movie would you make? And I tell people all the time, if I was to make a Bond movie, first of all, listen, I'm just a random a-hole. I think Christopher Nolan did want to do a Bond movie. But if I did a Bond movie, I would fill it with so much drinking and gambling and smoking and casual sex and car chases and over-the-top violence and just all these outrageous situations. I'd have like bases on the moon, and I have these killer satellites raining, kinetic strikes down on New York and London, and I'd have like this casino. Miss Pussyfinger, how you? Oh, you think you're gonna get me? And and there's like car chase. Oh, it chases, runs out of building, jumps out, and jumps and lands on its edge, and all the kinds of stuff. And he drinks a martini while he's doing that, and all that kind of stuff. All the shit you want to see in a Bond movie. I wouldn't have him babysitting some kid. Again, a movie that I'm not saying I saw. I'm not saying I didn't see it. I'd make the same movie. Yes. Moonbase. The Rock was a Bond movie. Have you seen that theory? I've seen. I'm familiar with the theory, but listen. The James Bond theories are I all dismiss as being fan fiction because ultimately it comes down to the same 4 words. Well, it's not impossible. Well, yeah, everything's not impossible. There you go. Listen, how do you make Bond relevant in the 21st century? Okay, listen, floating space platforms with kinetic strikes with these huge tungsten rods on them. Holding the world hostage. We're going to rain down one on the capital city after every hour on the hour. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's been done. Yeah, it's just The Spy Who Loved Me, but still. I mean, really, anything is better than this. A movie again. I'm not saying I saw. Not saying I saw. But they always say, the Bond would be like 90 now if it was started. Like, yeah, but shut up. I might always say, shut up. Anybody who comes at me would say, Bond would be about 90. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Suspend your disbelief and go with it. Okay? The T-Rex would have helped. Yes. Absolutely. But the other thing is that James Bond is supposed to be the best. He's supposed to be the best. He wasn't the best. He wasn't the best in any of these movies. Was best card player. He wasn't the best at anything in these movies. It could have been anybody. Kenny Long, just give it No Time to Die. The Drinker does not recommend. Well, yeah. I'm not surprised. There you go. I guess James Bond, Jurassic Spy. Madman is cloning dinosaurs on his island. He's going to unleash them on the world. Really? Yeah, like I said, no time for daycare. No time for daycare. It's unreal. Rami Malek was okay. Well, Rami Malek in a movie that I'm not saying I saw was okay. He was okay. But he's long, boring, pedantic, took forever to say anything. Like a certain someone on another YouTube channel. Super Spy. Yeah, Super Spy, the guy, Madman clones dinosaurs, unleashes them on the world. Blonde, James Blonde. Actually, awesome one. That was when the Beatle cartoons used to be on the 60s. That was a parody. That was England's most famous secret agent, James Blonde. Steve Martin with a cane should be next week. Listen. But the whole problem, like I said, the problem is there's no reverence for anything here. None. There's no reverence in a movie I'm not saying I saw. I'm not saying I saw it. That joke's getting a little old. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. I can't believe we're at this point where all my favorite things have been ruined. I say to myself, thank God the Beatles broke up when they did. Now nobody can ruin them. Jason Statham, well, he's bald. Bald Bond? I don't know. I have to get something to drink, guys. My throat's getting a little scratchy. Okay, I gotta get something to drink. I'll be right back. I'm gonna turn the camera off. I'll be right back. Stream will continue. Entertain. Talk amongst yourselves. So. On the way back. On my way back with my beverage. Nice glass of water. Okay. All right. And I'm back. And I'm back. So I've got my glass of water. Burpees. So where were we? So yeah. So this is where we are now. Franchises just falling one by one. Star Wars, Ghostbusters, that could be redeemed. Marvel, DC Comics, James Bond, Terminator, Cowboy Bebop is next. Get ready for that. Oh, they are gonna do a number on that. They are gonna absolutely do a number on that. Let me see if I can pull up the Vanity Fair article. Actually, yeah, let me bring this up. Because I'm not nuts. I'm not nuts. Look. Take a look. Take a look. Austin Powers still haunts the James Bond franchise. 23 years after the first movie, Mike Myers' spy satire series. The effects of its sting are still visible in the seriousness and fear of camp throughout Daniel Craig's 007 movies. Daniel Craig just can't seem to escape James Bond. While the actor technically wrapped the fifth and final movie as in his stint as 007, No Time to Die, the film still unintentionally turned into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Originally scheduled to come out in April, the movie has been moved in November in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. And given the experts believe a second wave of deadly virus could emerge in the winter, it's quite possible to be delayed once more into 2020. Okay, this was written a while ago. When did this? This was April of last year. It's not yet time for this Bond to die. Craig, for his part, wants nothing more than to put 007 in his rearview mirror. The dude melodramatically said he'd rather slash his wrist than do another entry in the franchise before returning for No Time to Die. The inevitable press tour for No Time to Die, which Craig will pretend to give a shit about something he's clearly come to loathe. Should be worthy of an Oscar nomination. Don't feel too bad for the actor. Reportedly received $25 million for taking the role. Grueling physical toll of the part notwithstanding, it's notable that Craig has devoted some of his recent non-Bond work towards playing really eccentric characters. Explosive excerpts in Joe Bang and Lucky Logan Lucky, Detective Benoit Blanc in Knives Out. Both of them have ridiculous southern twang. It almost feels like a cry for help. Daniel Craig just wants to have some fun and use an over-the-top southern accent as a treat. But as excellent as some of his Bond films have been, fun probably isn't the first adjective that comes to mind when describing Craig's take on the character. That was a point unto itself. Mike Myers fucked us, Craig told Bond fan site MI6 Confidential magazine 2014. I'm a huge Mike Myers fan, so don't get me wrong, but he kind of fucked us. He was referring to what else? The Austin Powers franchise, Myers' iconic spoof of Bond and the larger spy genre. An internationally renowned secret agent, an inexplicably irresistible sex symbol, Austin Powers, played by Myers, is a far cry from the conventional attractiveness of any iteration of 007. The character has garish teeth that are so ugly that in one scene they cause a car's rearview mirror to shatter, and has a chest hair form in the shape of a penis. Powers creates countless mishaps when trying to save the world. He punched his boss's mother, mistaking her for a man, and once slipped in a stool sample. He thought, it was poorly brewed coffee. Cinema. Meanwhile, his arch nemesis, Dr. Evil, also Myers, is modeled after Bond villain Ernst Stavro Blofeld, right down to the scar, Nehru jacket, and feline companion, Dr. Evil's cat, Mr. Bigglesworth. Unfortunately, is a little different from Blofeld. After being cryogenically frozen, he ends up losing his hair. Once again, taking a drink. If you haven't watched them, Austin Powers movies are, and I mean this in the best possible way, unbelievably stupid. These films spend as much time perfecting sight gags like Myers and Elizabeth Hurley using wedding gifts to block their private parts at the end of International Man of Mystery as actual spy movies would with action sequences. Extended dick jokes in The Spy Who Shagged Me was so effective, they brought it back in Goldmember with boobs and the Osbournes. Osbournes being the biggest get, perhaps speaks to the franchise's age. And all due respect to Beyonce, once you watch the late Vern Troyer's Mini-Me hump her character's leg in Goldmember, you can never unsee it. With the exception of the franchise's frequent use of time travel, the framework of Austin Powers and its quirky cast of characters all come straight from Bond. The list of references is so comprehensive, it requires a glossary. It's also satire that doesn't need to change things too much, because the Bond franchise was already pretty ridiculous to begin with. It's hard to come up with a name more absurd than Pussy Galore. A lot of vagina was a worthy effort. The winking humor of James Bond, particularly during the Roger Moore era, was seen rather as a feature rather than a bug. Though leaning into camp at times, deflated on-screen product, like the abhorrent whistle sound effect using the Man with the Golden Gun, superlative corkscrew car jump, that jump is still badass. And here they come to shut the stream down. Still, even if camp was occasionally the intention, Austin Powers has loads of material to parody. Like any good spoof, Myers franchise came from a place of endearment. The comedian has said the films are a tribute to his late father that nevertheless skewered established Bond tropes like the character's constant womanizing, the villain's tendencies to set up absurd and easily escapable situations for 007, and glitzy opening credit sequences. The Austin Powers musical opening had no right to be this good. You see, that's the thing, though. They want to set up Austin's world as very colorful. It's a very colorful world and very joyful world. And they want to show Dr. Evil's world as very drab, very run down. More water. Incidentally, Goldmember, the final Austin Powers film, though there is always a glimmer of hope for more, was released the same year as Pierce Brosnan's swan song, Die Another Day, which was horrible. which is among the worst reviewed entries of the franchise. I wish I was kidding. But if you Google Die Another Day, one of the top results happens to be is Die Another Day, the worst Bond movie ever. Die Another Day's tepid reception in 2002 also coincided with the arrival of the Jason Bourne franchise, which showed there was an appetite for a grittier, grimmer, more realistic kind of spy movie. As much as audiences enjoyed watching 007 recite his martini offer before running off with a beautiful woman, sometimes you just want to watch a living weapon dispatch a goon with a pen. Yeah, but that's good, but that's not Bond. It's within the context we get better understanding of how James Bond transformed from a guy who surfed through terrible CGI tsunami damn it, to save Halle Berry into a man unforgettably tortured via whipping of testicles in the span of 4 years. Casino Royale, Craig's debut as 007, goes to great pains, see testicular torture, to underscore that this was the gritty Bond, someone shaped more by trauma than the thrill of globetrotting and woman chasing. Of the 4 films released, Craig's Bonds have been a mixed bag. Casino Royale is, in my mind, the single best entry in the history of the franchise. Movie so good that 007 spends most of the sequel, Quantum of Solace, recovering from its events. Skyfall, with an elite Adele theme and Oscar-nominated cinematography from legendary Roger Deakins, might even have more admirers. But Craig's Bond movies also have smaller margin for error. Say what you will about Moore and Brosnan's 10 years as 007, but even their most disappointing movies manage to coast on good vibes. You know, I'll give you that. The Moore and Brosnan Bonds movies weren't always good. But you know what? You can always pull something out of them. This I can't. The movie, again, I'm not saying that I saw. The comparatively dour spirit of Craig's entries can at times be their own worst enemies. And sometimes they're just asking to be made fun of. Oh, we'll get to that. When Spectre brings back Blofeld, this time played by Oscar-winning Christoph Waltz, after Dr. Evil left his indelible mark on the character, the film inadvertently leans into self-parody. Yeah, pretty much. It's, you know what? It was like Vince McMahon. It was me, Austin. It was me, James. It was me all along. We find out in Spectre that Bond and Blofeld are foster brothers. A reveal that wouldn't seem so embarrassingly short-sighted if Goldmember hadn't already toyed with the cliche by having Austin Powers and Dr. Evil be secret twins. As much as Craig believes Austin Powers fucked over James Bond by preventing it from being able to embrace camp like it used to, the franchise has sort of fucked itself. With the end of the Craig era, well, once No Time to Die can actually be released, which it has, James Bond will have a clean slate again. While it will be interesting to learn who might be eyed for the title role once Hollywood slowly returns to business as usual, it also remains to be seen whether there's been enough time since Goldmember for 007 to once again embrace a playful spirit. There's still hope No Time to Die will rectify some of this. It didn't. Again, not saying I saw it. Last year, Emmy-winning phenom Phoebe Waller-Poob Bridge was asked to spice up the script. Oh, for God's sake. Why are we letting her near movies? Why? A franchise as enduring as the iconic James Bond is no stranger to parody. Matthew Vaughn's ongoing Kingsman series is profane, gory, R-rated alternative, but the sting of Austin Powers has persisted at MGM and Eon Productions. Eon, Everything or Nothing. Even longer after the film's pop culture references have become dated. Influencing one of the biggest franchises in the world is perhaps not one of the legacies Mike Myers intended for his trilogy, but it's impressive all the same. Or, to put it in terms that the International Man of Mystery with hideous teeth and phallic chest hair might understand, yeah, baby, yeah! Again, you know, like I said, imitation. Gives me that saying, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Apparently, they don't think so. You know, let me tell you. Yeah, and I pointed this out to Mecca actually. All these franchises that are being ruined are inadvertently, listen, right or wrong, they're being ruined by women. Victoria Alonso, she's ruining Marvel. And since she got more, she's become more visible. Marvel. Kathleen Kennedy, she's going to ruin 2 franchises. Indiana Jones and Star Wars. How do you do that? Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Poob. Ruining James Bond. And she had her greasy little mitts in freaking Solo, Star Wars story. Goldfinger. Yeah, the reverse Midas touch. Everything they touch turns to lead. Now, who was it? Was it wasn't Morbid Fury, it was Techie Mantis sent this over to me. And this really does ring true. Now we're going to stop it every so often to transform it. So, but this is the spitting image puppets. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, spitting image is they're a puppetry group out of the UK, comedy group out of the UK, and they do this satire with these really grotesquely deformed puppets. Yeah, he did. Techie Manta said this. Salt exists. Satirical exists. Why can't they make an original idea for a movie? Because these are people that have listened to the rap and the Black Eyed Peas, where they take samples of other people's music and they twist them and reappropriate them. They don't know how. They don't know how to make anything original. Listen. I would sit there and wish I could write a good song when I play guitar. I wish I could just hit that one song and everything will start. I couldn't do it. I had to go through. I had a lot of bad ones. But you know what? These are people that don't know how to do anything original because they never had to do anything original. And these are people these are also, and we're also dealing, we're also dealing with an entire generation that has grown up tearing down heroes. Really, we have. Remember that speech remember what Green Goblin said this to Spider-Man? People love seeing more than a hero seeing a hero fail. He says, my hat's crooked. You know what? I've never seen Kingsman. I will, though. I had to see OSS 117 too. Keep getting recommended by that. But let's take a look at this. Hold on. I was just watching the Matador corkscrew jump, Man the Golden Gun, 74. That was amazing and near stunt. Actually, you know what? The stunt driver couldn't make it that day. And the mechanic said, okay, I'll do it. They had the steering wheel mounted in the center of the car for the balance. He said, you have to hit the ramp at this speed. And he does it. They weren't sure if they were going to do it. They had one take to get it right. Oh, God. No. Yeah. And Ana de Armas in it for 5 minutes. Again, not saying I saw it. Like I said, they have they had for the corkscrew jump, they had the steering wheel mounted in the center of the car for the balance. The stunt driver didn't show. There's something that happened. I couldn't remember what it was. Maybe I think it was delayed to the airport or something. But he wasn't going to make it. The mechanic said, "I'll do it." So they go and they do the jump. The camera rolling cameras. They do the jump. Lands on the other side, and everybody's gathered around him. Cubby Broccoli has a roll full of money, puts it in his pocket. And what do you think the guy says? "Can I do it again?" The 10 on heroes then are celebrated for bolstering their efforts to keep going. Yeah. Well, no, they're celebrated within their circle. Oh, great movie. Hey, great movie. You did great. With us, they're not celebrated. That's the thing. They want to be patted on the back by their low-life Hollywood peers for the franchises they destroyed. So let's take a look at this spinning image here. Hopefully I'm sharing the audio. So,
Phoebe, I got your new rewrite.
Good, isn't it?
Got a couple of concerns. It
first of all, yeah, that is Poob right there.
starts off in Moneypenny's office, bit of flirty banter, but when Bond goes in to see M, we stay with Moneypenny, who turns to camera and says, "He shagged me up the arse."
Yes.
Well, normally it's more innuendo. But
Yeah, this isn't far from the truth. They do my man Q dirty. Not really. They reveal that he's gay, but it's just a passing comment.
Bond might say, "I once took her up the Orinoco."
Oh. What if I change it to "He came on my tits"?
Meanwhile, we're missing all the explanation about the mission.
The mission's not the real story. The relationships are.
There you go. The relationships are. This is all the story. The relationships are.
Oh, I suppose you are the genius. Oh, sod it. I mean, in Die Another Day, he had an invisible car.
Why are we letting her near movies? Why? Why are we letting her near movies? For representation. That's why. For representation. Oh.
Why don't we raise the stakes, Mr. Scaryfinger?
As you wish, Mr. Bond.
Why is it so bloody hard to find a good vibrator?
I had to see you.
Because you want to shag me up the arse?
You're so damaged and posh, and you're so clumsy.
Yeah, this isn't very far. This isn't very far off. Yeah. You just said it, Rob, to be praised by the inner circle of Hollywood. Yeah, that's all they want. That's all that's important to them. Find representation when people have talent too much to ask. Yeah. Burn is too much to be asked.
Oh, my old flatmate accidentally killed herself, you see.
I wonder if Mr. Scaryfinger knows anything about that.
Ooh, I'd like him to shag me up the arse.
What are you implying, Mr. Bond?
Only that this is no time to die.
Oh.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at here. Yeah, she did. She said that. Like you said, why are we letting her near big franchises? I don't understand. Why? My channel's dead. You're going to get struck here.
Are you sure it's going to work?
Bound to. I'm getting 10 grand a day for this.
Fair point.
There you go. There you go. That's it. That's not far from the truth. Yeah. Why did they bring her on? Why did they bring... Somebody explain to me the appeal of Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Somebody. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't... I don't get it. And now this is another thing. Gamer Rant saying about how Bond was saved by Austin Powers. If I can share the screen. How do I freaking make it go wide? I don't want it to be small. There we go. After Mike Myers ridiculed Bond movies tropes, 007 producers had to step up their game. Yeah, but they did it in the wrong way. The theory of the James Bond franchise should have grown its stale a long time ago. Its tropes, plot devices are relic of the 60s. Who wrote this? Ben Sherlock. Who the fuck is Ben Sherlock? That's a fake name if I ever heard one. Oh, God, look at this guy. Ben Sherlock. Writer, comedian, independent filmmaker. He writes with Screen Rant. Oh, for God's sakes. Yeah, you know what? You're gonna keep being a... He's one of Ethan's beard boys. Rather than building on existing narratives, each movie is an episodic installment following more or less the same formula. But thanks to the flexibility of that formula and creative handful of filmmakers of vested interest in 007, it's managed to stay afloat for decades and doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. Daniel Craig's final film, The Role, No Time to Die, is one of the most highly anticipated upcoming blockbusters, and fans can't wait to see who will take on the next role. Idris Elba to be James Bond. Let me write a vote. But that's not saying there have been a few bumps in the road. And aging Roger Moore's hyper camp efforts from the 80s were heavily criticized. The subsequent darker entries starring Timothy Dalton were met with mixed response that threatened to kill the franchise altogether. The series got back on track with the introduction of Pierce Brosnan's 007, 1995's GoldenEye. Movie that managed to uphold the traditions of Bond films while modernizing all the outdated cliches. Unfortunately, just 2 years after GoldenEye saved the Bond franchise, the release of Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery put it back in jeopardy. The absurdist Mike Myers classic mixes affection for 60s swinging culture with the sharp satire of Bond movies. Mike Myers' deconstruction of the Bond formula was so spot on that it made it impossible to take 007 seriously again. The movies pointed out the ineffectualness, there's a fancy word, of evil as a business tool. The ridiculousness of romantic interests with on-the-nose sexual puns for names. And the fact that every henchman has a life outside of their work with friends and family who love them. The Brosnan era doubled down on the silliness, but it resulted in some of the worst Bond movies ever made. I don't think that's fair. World is Not Enough is not a bad movie. Tomorrow Never Dies is not horrible. Die Another Day is abysmal. GoldenEye is very good. Stories like Media Mogul starring World War III so he can have exclusive coverage of the conflict and set pieces like Bond surfing on a giant tidal wave seem to prove Austin Powers films point that Bond movies are way too ludicrous to be taken seriously. As audiences fell out of love with Bond and popularity of Myers' satirical caricature continued to rise, the 007 producers realized they would need to radically revamp the franchise, even more than they did with GoldenEye. If it was going to survive post-Austin Powers, and to a lesser extent, post-Bourne, so they cast Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, a gritty reboot that brought a strikingly realistic edge to the proceedings. The fights are brutal and messy, and Bond is young and inexperienced and therefore prone to ugly mistakes. Instead of signing off with quippy one-liner after killing guys, Bond just comforts his traumatized love interest. Craig has since directly credited Austin Powers franchise with the gritty tone that Casino Royale brought to the table. Okay, yada, 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 yada. We had to destroy the myth because Mike Myers fucked us. I'm a huge Mike Myers fan, so don't get me wrong, but he kind of fucked us, according to Craig. Does Bond producer's credit seriously stepped up the game with the response to Austin Powers franchise lighthearted barbing? From its opening scene, action, breathtaking parkour stunts, a cinematic set piece, which the building Bond is sinks into a river. Casino Royale, this rollicking, action-packed cinematic ride. Mads Mikkelsen haunts the portrayal as Le Chiffre, but it was the novel. It was a novel. All this was in the novel. So this was all the stuff you're praising was in the novel written in the 50s. Made to form the series' most memorable villains, while Eva Green's Vesper Lynn is a complex character with plenty of agency, as opposed to one-dimensional sex object like most previous Bond girls. After Casino Royale boldly left all the traditions behind, the Bond franchise has since begun to reintroduce familiar elements to play on fans' nostalgia. The first movie to nail the balance between Casino Royale and Visual Edge and classic Bond Sam Mendes' Skyfall, which retained the hard-hitting violence and unsettling villain of Craig's 007 debut, but brought back one-liners, identifying action, and the Aston Martin DB5. Unfortunately, Inspector, the tone was off again. With any luck, no time that I can nail. No, it didn't. Much like Star Wars, Bond is a franchise with a very specific tone that's difficult to get right. It's not that it's difficult to get right. It's just so many people are obsessed with getting it wrong. It's tough to outline exactly what Star Wars feels like. Oh, God. These people are serious, aren't they? Or what Bond feels like. It feels like Bond. It's unto itself. But it's obvious when it's wrong. For Bond movies, there's also the added challenge of keeping up with modern sensibilities, which is tricky when movies are a common target for parody. Oh, for God's sake. Words escape me. They really do. Yeah, well, like I said, every like Tree Rock Creations, everyone wants to reinvent the wheel. That's the problem. It's like what I was. Remember the whole craft beer obsession a few years ago? Yeah, remember the craft beer obsession? I walk into a bar. Let me try one of these, and I said to myself, this tastes weird. What this doesn't taste right. So I asked the bartender, "Excuse me, something's wrong with this beer. Are the taps clean? I mean, oh yeah, the taps are clean. We had them serviced the other day. Well, was something with the glass? I mean, is the glass? Oh no, the glass is clean. Well, what kind of beer is this? They said apricot wheat. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I just said, oh, for God's sake. Apricot wheat. What is this? Craft? What is this? Oh, it's craft beer. Craft beer like it's being made by kindergartners after nap time. I said wheat, which is what you make bread out of, and apricots, a fruit that nobody likes. And I said to them, listen. I said, this is terrible. How can? Oh well, they have to try different flavors to get market share. I said, you want to get market share? Here's how you do it. Get beer flavored beer right first. And then you could do the weird, stupid flavors. Blueberry walnut crunch or whatever. But get beer flavored beer right. Get Bond right when you're making a Bond movie. Get Star Wars right when you're making a Star Wars movie. Don't try to get fancy. Apricots used to have one use to make you do something that these idiots have turned movies into. It's all juice cleanses. Scotch ale. Like I said, get beer flavored beer right first. That's right. Give me real soda. I've been pitching the same fit lately. Did a video topic. You want to told the same one. You want to be told the same story over and over. Asking when is enough when it comes to recycling stories. Like I said, but it all comes down to the execution. It really does. It all comes down to the execution. Blueberry Crunch sounds good, but not. Blueberry Crunch sounds good, but not for beer. Blueberry Walnut Crunch, maybe for ice cream, maybe for cereal, maybe for yogurt, but not for beer. See, I like 80s Buck Rogers. See, I made chicken tonight. I made chicken on the grill. And every time I make chicken on the grill, I think it's a scene from the 80s Buck Rogers where the prepackaged survival food was poisoned. And they go down this planet. They have to survive. And he's cooking up something. Something. Don't know what it is. It's something. And the guy he's with saying, you just shot something and you're cooking it and you're going to eat it. Buck's like, yeah, why not? And that's what it always reminds me of. Like, yeah, why not? Why wouldn't I do that? Yeah, I've been going almost an hour, 20 minutes here. Probably, I don't know what, let me see. Daniel Craig's favorite beer. Let me see. Well, I read he doesn't drink. He doesn't drink martinis, at least. Actually, he likes Heineken. He says it's his beer of choice. Ask why the movies franchise chose Heineken over other beers. Craig says simple answer. It's my favorite choice of beer. I drink it every morning. Doesn't everybody? Okay. That's okay. So good for him. He's a day drinker. Nothing wrong with that. I don't judge. Well, if you finish your no spoiler review, then thank you for the stream, Rob. IPAs I've had make the bitter of Nintendo Switch cartridges seem weak. Have I heard that beer released a few years ago was made with yeast of brewer's facial hair? Well, hey, those hipster beers, so they has to go somewhere. Ed from the Orville drinks German beer. Yeah. All right, guys. I know I'm going to wrap this up. So this has been my non-spoiler, non-review, non-stream of No Time to Die. I'll leave this up. Actually, I saw a picture of the Beatles. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. What's a picture of it? There was a picture of there's a picture of the Beatles I saw. They were backstage. And they were I noticed they had beer on the table. And they were drinking Beck's. Probably never ran up. I'm not going to be able to find it. Yeah, I'll never be able to find it now. Here it is. Actually, here it is. I think that's Beck's. Let me share that. I think that's yeah, that's Beck's. I think that's Beck's. Let me see. Yeah, that looks like Beck's to me. So that's the 66 tour. Yeah. Because they both play in the casinos. All right, everybody. I'm going to get ready to wrap up here. So, all right. Everybody, this has been my non-spoiler, non-review, No Time to Die stream. I think we had as many as 40 people here at one time. That's actually pretty good. Everybody, Sleazy P Martini is going to be watching in about 20 minutes. I will catch you all next time. Everybody, we will catch you later.